Hello everyone. So today we'll look into the demand side of the market. Now, what is a market? Market is simply a place where buyers and sellers interact with each other. Buyers buy goods and services, sellers sell goods and services. The two major participants of the market are the buyers, the households, the sellers, the firms, right? Now today we are going to look at the buyer's side who demand for goods and services. Okay, now let's talk about the demand side of the market. This demand side of the market comes from the buyer's side. So what is demand? Basically, it is the goods or services a consumer is willing and is able to buy at a given price. So you should have the willingness to buy as well as you should have the capability of buying that product. Then it will be considered as quantity demanded. On the other hand, when we draw diagrammatically the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded, we call it as demand curve. Now in general, you would have observed when there is an increase in price of a good, the demand for that good falls. So there is a negative relationship between the demand of a good and its price, right? So let's now try to draw a demand curve. So we have y-axis and x-axis. Now on the y-axis, always you have price of a good. So let's say price of wheat here, right? And on the x-axis, you will always have quantity of that good. So let's say quantity of wheat here, yeah. And then for demand curve, it will always be downward sloping. So demand curve is always downward sloping. And why it is downward sloping? Because as your price increase, an increase in price causes a decrease in demand, and vice versa. A decrease in price causes an increase in demand. So because of this negative relationship between price and demand, there is a downward sloping demand curve. So let's draw a demand curve. To draw the demand curve, we'll be using this demand schedule. A demand schedule is a table that represents the prices of apples or the prices of a good and the quantity demanded of that good on those prices. Now, if you observe, when the price of apples is 5, the quantity demanded is 100. But as soon as the price increases to 10, the quantity demanded reduces to 80. And further, when the price increases to 15, the quantity demanded decreases to 60. Now, this means that as the price is increasing, the quantity demanded is decreasing. Now, let's try and make this on this graph. Now, when we make the graph, the very first step is you should know that the y-axis is always the price of the good. The x-axis is always the quantity of the good. Now, if we see here, when the price is 5, the quantity of apples demanded is 100. When the price is 10, the quantity demanded is 80. When the price is 15, the quantity demanded is 60. When the price is 20, the quantity demanded is 40. When the price is 25, the quantity demanded is 20. Now, when we draw a line connecting all these points that we have actually marked, we will get our demand curve. There was a point here as well. So we'll get our demand curve. And what we observe, that the demand curve is always downward sloping, right? So downward sloping because there's a negative relationship between price and the quantity demanded. So based on the previous discussion, we conclude that law of demand is ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus means other things being equal, no change in other factors, other variables. When the price of the product falls, the quantity demanded will increase, while when the price of the product increases, the quantity demanded will decrease. That is about the market, the demand side of the market. Thank you and see you again. Bye.